Well, welcome back, everybody. You know, being a parent isn't easy. I know. Please know. Every day there's a new challenge and a new reason to question if you're doing a good job. Just check out some of the fears we've heard from moms all over the country.
Am I a bad parent?
I don't really like to play with my kids.
We like to have a cocktail during a play date.
I totally did a happy dance when the kids went back to school.
I don't accept anything less than a C.
Sometimes I tell my daughter that her toys are broken just so I don't have to listen to them one more time.
I let my kids stay up way past their bedtime.
I totally let my kids run around without clothes on.
Sometimes when I need a couple minutes to myself, I'll let this baby play with almost anything.
Am I a bad parent?
With me are three moms that are terrified that they might be doing their kids more harm than good. Please welcome Jonah, Marilena, and Ingrid. Now, also joining us is parenting specialist and the author of If I Have to Tell You One More Time. Please welcome AMY McCREADY. I like that title. Hi, how are you? Love that title. Okay, Amy, why are so many parents afraid that they're getting it wrong?
Well, I think there is just so much pressure on parents to do everything perfectly. You know, with social media and the blogosphere, you're constantly comparing yourself to everybody else who does it perfectly and effortlessly, and it's just not that way. You know, we're told we're supposed to lean in at work and lay back with our kids and enjoy them and make nutritious meals and have a perfect house, and it just doesn't work. We have to recognize we're gonna have good days and bad days, and that's okay. We learn from the bad ones and move on.
These moms here, everybody, are dealing with specific issues that have them asking the question, am I a bad parent? Okay, let's start with Jonah. Jonah, what's happening in your house?
Well, I'm the proud parent of an 8- and 5-year-old boy, and I work a lot. I have 2 jobs. I'm a real estate agent and also in the military. This causes me to travel, so I've missed important things like birthday parties, holidays, first days of school. And my concern is that with me working so much, that this makes me a bad parent.
Well, Amy, what do you think?
She is not a bad parent. She is busy and overwhelmed, and she serves her country, and she loves her kids. And, but, like so many parents with our busy schedules and lives and our kids' commitments, so many parents feel guilty that they're not spending quality time with their kids. And even when we're with our kids, we're not fully present, we're not connecting with them, we're not filling their attention baskets in positive ways. And here's the deal. If we don't take that time to be present, to fill their attention basket, they will act out with bad behavior to get our attention. And that's not good for any of us.
When she does have time with the kids, what's the best way to connect, well, even though she's so busy?
Well, busy moms can ease a lot of that guilt and really connect with their kids in as little as 10 to 20 minutes per day in a tool that I call Mind, Body, and Soul Time. And Mind, Body, and Soul Time is taking 10 minutes of one-on-one time with each of your kids on a daily basis when you are really present in mind, body, and soul. Because when you do that, when you take that 10 minutes, you invest that time, you can let the guilt go because you know you've filled their attention basket, you've made those emotional connections, and what happens is the negative behaviors start to fall off the radar screen. They become more cooperative, so it's a total win for everybody.
Mm-hmm. I would say to you this, you know, look, providing is a part of parenting. I mean, if you're not a good provider, that's going to be hard to fulfill the role of being a good parent, you know. So I wouldn't beat myself up so bad about that. A lot of people are beating themselves up because of the time. But if you don't provide, the moments ain't all that good anyway.
Thank you.
Yeah, okay, thank you, Joan. I appreciate that. Let's move on to Marilena. Marilena, what's going on?
Well, I am married and I have 3 small children, 6, 7, and 8. So my house is very hectic and very busy. Sometimes when I just need a little peace or I need them to actually do something that I need them to do, I'll bribe them. I'll give them extra computer time, extra, laptop time, or even maybe a little toy. And, sometimes I think that makes me a bad parent.
Hey, listen, just hold that thought right there. Listen, I know a lot of parents question whether it's okay to bribe their kids, and you'll hear Amy's thoughts and mine when we come back. Stay with us. Don't go away. All right, I'm back, everybody, and I'm sitting here with parenting specialist and author of If I Have to Tell You One More Time, AMY McCREADY. Okay, and we've also got several moms here who've been asking themselves the question, am I a bad parent? Now, before the break, Marlena said she bribes her kids for just 5 minutes of quiet time. Amy, do you think that this is common, the bribe technique?
It is a very common technique, and frankly, it can work in the short term, but you run into a lot of problems long term when you use bribes, because you set that expectation that anytime you need them to get moving or cooperate or do something, they're going to get a bribe or a gimme for it. And over time, that fosters that what's in it for me attitude. The other big problem that we run into is with bribes, you have to constantly up the ante. So right now, they may be motivated by a little bit more computer time, but then all of a sudden it's a video game or new designer jeans, and then pretty soon we can't afford these people.
Yeah. You know, this is kind of a trick that I've learned over the years with my kids. Once you earn a privilege, you have to earn the right to continue the privilege. So instead of bribing them, what I do with them, I say, okay, listen, like if you need 5 minutes of quiet time, okay, listen, I get the 5 minutes of quiet time. You go in your room and you sit down and you be quiet. Or you're gonna lose your next computer time. You're gonna lose the video privilege. Amy, what do you think? I mean...
I agree. And another tool that you can use that is really helpful to replace the bribes is called a when-then system. And it would sound like this. When your homework is finished and all of your family jobs are done, then we'll leave for soccer practice, or then you can have your computer time or TV time. It's not a bribe. It's restructuring the daily routines so the undesirable tasks, the yucky stuff, has to be done before the more enjoyable parts of the day. They're normally allowed 30 minutes of TV time or whatever that is. You create those when-then routines for morning, afternoon, and evening, and you can get out of the bribing business.
Well, thank you for sharing. I think that's good. All right, let's move on to Ingrid right now. Now, Ingrid, what's going on in your house?
I am divorced, and I have twin 16-year-old daughters that I'm raising on my own, and I'm trying to teach them morals. And having said that, I have a boyfriend of 7 years on and off, and on occasion, I will allow him to spend the night at my house when my girls are home. And I'm wondering if that makes me a bad parent.
Well, it does not make you a bad parent because you're thoughtfully considering those choices, and we're here talking about it. But there are a couple of problems. You know, the most powerful role model in any child's life is that same-sex parent. And when you allow the on-again, off-again boyfriend to sleep over, it kind of sends the message that it's okay to have sex in an uncommitted relationship. And you might think, well, I'm an adult and it's different and I can make those decisions. But like it or not, kids follow our actions, not our words, so.
What can Ingrid do to improve the situation in your eyes?
Well, I think it's coming clean and changing your ways. And that's sitting down with your girls and saying, you know what? I've realized that I haven't been respecting myself and I haven't been respectful of you by allowing my boyfriend to stay over. And so from now on, I'm gonna either see him on dates, or if he does come over to the house, he's gonna leave by 11 o'clock. And then from that point forward, really follow the golden rule of parenting, which is be the example that you want them to be.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, fine. It'll be fun. Amy, what advice do you have for all parents who are asking themselves the questions, am I a bad parent?
Well, I have 3 tips for parents. First, don't be a pendulum parent. That's the parent that swings back and forth between being overly permissive or excessively strict. It's confusing for kids and it doesn't work. We need to balance kindness and firmness. The second thing is be loving and respectful, but be crystal clear about your expectations and your family rules. And when your kids test you, and they will, follow through each and every time with consequences. And the third tip is please try hard to avoid the entitlement epidemic. You know, instead of indulging your kids with stuff and doing everything for them and protecting them from every little disappointment, you know, expect them to take responsibility, hold them accountable, and let them experience the little disappointments and failures so they're prepared to handle the big ones down the road.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's really, really good. Having been a parent a long time and listening to her, she's dead on with it. I have to remind myself this all the time. and I have to remind my children this all the time. I am first and foremost your father. That is my ultimate and end result job, is to be your father, to provide you with love and guidance. I'd love to be your friend from time to time, but a lot of the stuff I'm gonna tell you ain't gonna be real friendly to you at all. But it's my idea of love and guidance, and that's my job. And too many parents are trying to be friends, and that ain't your job. I tell my kids all the time, man. I want to thank you all. I think you ladies were very courageous for coming out, and I think you're just like every other parent. We all ask ourselves the same question. Am I a good parent? Am I a bad parent? Did I make a mistake, you know? But I got to tell you, this book right here, folks, it makes a lot of sense to me, and I'm just a real common sense guy. The book is called If I Have to Tell You One More Time, ... You fill in the blank, depending on how you're raising your kids. Great job. I want to say special thanks to my guest, AMY McCREADY. And guess what? We're sending everybody in the audience home with a copy of her book. Thank you, ladies, very much.